Hola a todos, buenas noches. Hemos regresado. Se acabó el COVID para mí, se acabaron las emergencias. Bueno, let me not jinx myself as of yet, although I don't believe in any of that. But I'm excited tonight and touched also because it's so timely, her visit with us today. Her sharing her story with us today and leaving us with strategies, because that's what she does, is amazing. But I want to thank you all for the support you give us on the mission to serve our brothers and sisters. And I want to let you know that we will be out there December 19, like we are every month. And obviously, this month we weren't out there because, it would have been irresponsible on my part to be COVID positive and pretend that, I would not, share it with everybody else. At the same time, I'd like to thank Sudor Taino. They've done a beautiful job now for the holidays and for our brothers and sisters, and you will see. And these, Carla Medina does not have to do any of this, or her tribe, or her folks, but they go all out, and wait until you see what they have done. It is magical how God sprinkles on all of us these blessings. And sometimes, let's not forget this, the best way to deal with your own pain is sharing with others. It takes you out of your head. Takes you out of your head for a little bit. At least it does for me. And Hit Me With Your Best Shot is in the green room, the author. But the reason why I invite you all to join us today, and I've been talking about Neena off and on, and she knows that because, I watch her stuff, she watches my stuff. But I met Neena. Actually, I learned about Neena because she interviewed someone that I really love and respect, and it's Misotti Santiago, nuestra dominicana. And Misotti has an incredible journey, and it's just begun, right? It has just begun. Fearless. And I think sometimes we don't have a choice, right? Either you lay down and die or you fight. And she chose to fight. And I watched that interview with Neena, and I thought, oh my God, there is so much here. There's so much here that this woman was able to pull out. And I was like, okay, she's one of mine. Didn't approach her, but then guess what? We are at a women's event, and guess who's one of the guest speakers? Neena. And so I said to myself, all right, Lord, I hear you. I hear you. And it didn't take much. All I asked her was, would she come on? And she said, of course. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, esta hermana de nosotras, esta candela, candela, como decimos en Puerto Rico, se llama Neena Perez. That's her real name.
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us.
I'm glad you invited me. I'm really, really glad to be here. Thank you, Lily.
I'm so excited. Neena, can we first start with taking away the whole myth that life is just a bundle of flowers and joys and all of that? Because I think sometimes we need to remind ourselves that, don't you think so? Because we look at people, I'm looking at you now, right? But I don't know, how far did you have to work? I mean, how hard did you have to work to be now? Yeah. So what does that look like? Tell me about you, Neena.
Oh boy, my story, as you know, is really heavy. So I wrote a book called Hit Me With Your Best Shot: How I Overcame a Hard-Hitting Life, because it was something I really did as a project to heal. And also because I've been impacting women for so many years, and I decided that my story really didn't belong to me anymore, So it started young. I think everybody has like some tragedies and stuff they've been through in life. And you're right, it's not all a bed of roses. And it's a little sad that it's, this thing now out in social media world that where everything is just so perfect all the time. But I try to be very truthful. I'm a person who's a straight talker. I just say it how it is, and I learn and grow every day. Like I always tell people, don't tell me that I changed my mind from yesterday to today. That's called growth. I'm not going to be the same person I was
Oh,
yesterday, right?
I love that.
Right. Because I think that, people try to hold you to the person they knew or to the person that they had in the past, and you can't let people hold you there. So about me is I've been through a lot of stuff in my life. I was molested and stuff as a child. I've been through a horrific domestic violent relationship that almost ended in my murder. I had a child at 15 years old, a second one at 21. I was married and divorced. I mean, I've been through homelessness, living in shelters, the whole thing. So no, it's not a bed of roses, but it's what you do with the manure, the crap that life throws at you,
Ooh,
you
I like
know? Yeah. So you either take that crap that life throws at you and you plant it and you start to, develop things in your life which will flourish, or you sit in a pile of manure. That's on you, right?
that. Mm.
So life can it could either smell like crap, or it could actually do something for you. And you know what I'm saying? We need manure to grow flowers, and we need manure to live a life. And the truth is I've decided a long time ago to shake it off of my shoulders and step on it and rise. Yeah.
Tell us more.
Okay. So what happened is I think it was like 2015. I'm a journal. I like to journal. And so I was in my journal and I'm reading the journal, and every year the journal repeated what the journal was last year. All I had to do was change the date. I wasn't moving, is what I'm saying. I wasn't moving forward in my life, and I felt stuck, and I felt like I was on this rat wheel. And so I said, you know what? Every year from now on, I'm going to challenge myself to do something completely out of the box and completely new to what I'm used to. So that's what I did. So I started to say, okay, this year I'm gonna, I don't know, I was gonna go for a brand new job position. Then the following year is I'm gonna start blogging. The following year was, I was gonna write my book, which I did, and I focused on that goal every year. So it wasn't a resolution because I don't believe in those, but I did set a goal for myself, and just one goal that would be different than what I've done before. Then I decided to start a show, and that's where Straight Talk No Sugar Added started. So I looked for a studio, got a studio, started inviting guests. And then that went into a podcast, and that went into a whole show. And now I'm a business coach. So I help women strategize and develop the businesses that they envision in their hearts. And so now we talk about mindset and mind flow and energy and goals, accountability, niches, things like that. And so that's where I am today, and that's what I've grown into right now. I'm building a whole big platform to kind of help women get unstuck, to keep moving forward in what they want to do in their life, because we don't need to be stuck, even if you're in midlife. And I think that that's one of the things that, yeah, me too. And that's one of the things that women, I find that a lot in women right now, where women are, especially in the midlife space, are really just redefining who they are. They're redefining themselves. Lily, we're the last generation that'll be alive that has been here pre social media, pre computers, pre all of that. But we also are in it at the same time. We're the only generation. It's a fantastic thing, right? Because we have to be in a time where we were outside playing as kids, where we had to go and respect our elders, and we had to respect our parents, and we had to play around with the neighborhood kids. We have the best of both worlds. We had that upbringing, plus the fact that technology started to grow into our lives. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And we should just embrace our midlife, embrace who we are as people, and keep developing and growing. Why not? We have one life. Let's keep going.
The reason, Nina, I said tell us more is because I wanted people to hear exactly that you are telling the truth from the truth ticker, which is the heart.
Right.
I
Right.
am one who does not discourage at all. I believe feelings are really, really important and they guide you. In my trainings, I tell people all the time, whoa, 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 don't disregard your feelings.
Right.
Those,
Right.
those are the ones who are telling you what's going on, what's not going on, what needs to happen. So we got to figure out what those are. And I think so many times we've been taught. I know my generation is no, mija, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. You're too emotional. 2 minutos. Ya lloraste. You
Yeah,
already cried. You already cried. 5 minutos. It was almost
so
like they
true.
put the kitchen timer
So
on you.
true. Or I'll give you
Bing.
something to cry about. I'll give you something to
Oh
cry
no,
about. Yeah.
yeah, no, chancleta power, man.
Yeah, chocolate
Chancleta power,
powers. That's right.
chancleta power,
That's a
baby.
real thing, y'all. That's a real thing.
Yeah, chancleta power
Oh
always
my god.
available for you,
Yeah.
por la
Yeah.
mañana, por la tarde, o por la noche. Nina, what I love about what you've chosen to do, because this was a choice, I think, is I think you've chosen your pain for the gain of others.
Yeah.
And I find that so strategically beautiful.
Thank you.
Because
Yeah.
otherwise, our journey, I'm sorry, otherwise,
Okay.
our journey is only ours. And I believe it belongs to us.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
with you, I heal. With you, I mentor. With you, I hear your show and I go, uh-huh. Like I was watching your show the other day and you had a guest there. I'm like, exactly. I'm having my hallelujah moment. I'm like, uh-huh, uh-huh.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that part. I didn't know that resource.
Right,
So
right.
in in your development and in your growth, and you're taking us in different ways, you are taking us. And when I speak about community, that's what I talk about.
Mhm.
It's in us, is in we, is a community. So everything we do affects the soil of life. And you are doing such a great job at doing that. You are fearless. You bring,
Thank you.
no, you are. I'm
It's
so
the
glad you
camera,
said
it's the
thank
camera,
you.
it's the camera says that, but thank you.
No, but you
No, I'm
were
just kidding. Thank
fearless.
you.
I'm
Thank
glad
you.
that you said thank you.
Yeah. Thank
Because
you.
one of the many things that we are taught is not to receive a compliment.
Yeah, I had to grow into that. I had to grow into really knowing who I was, understanding my brain, understanding the power of my mind. Once I started to learn that, thank you. Right? Because it's been years of not feeling worthy, not feeling good enough, not feeling capable, always dealing with this imposter syndrome where you don't feel like you even know what you know. Right. And so you have to confirm your belief system. You have to confirm who you are and develop that mindset. You know what I'm saying? That you are going to, stay connected to who you really are. That's how you then, when somebody says you're brave. I think I am. I know that I am. I've done a
Oh,
lot of
hell
things in
yeah.
my life. Yeah, I've done a lot of things that have confirmed that. But I didn't know that before, because once you sit too long in a victim mentality, you are always the victim and never the victor. And I don't want to live my life like that anymore. I lived my life like that for a little period of time, but I realized that my mindset is, you know what? I'm here on one time. I have only one round to go. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is true life, and I want to make it count. And I can't make it count if I'm living in a victim mentality. So I started to really get into like the subconscious brain and the conscious brain, and being responsible for my thoughts. Programming the way I think, and if I think something subconsciously, like to what you're talking about, just connecting to who we are and our feelings, but it also starts with the mind, right? What are your thoughts? What are you thinking? You have to question yourself because some belief systems are old, they're outdated. We've had them since we were kids. We developed most of our mindsets between the ages of birth and 7 years old. So think about that, right? So whatever, all the tragedies and stuff that have maybe happened to you in your youth developed a certain mindset that maybe is outdated and you need to check it.
I love that you're saying this. With us, we have our beautiful community that's always with us. We have Carmen Santiago, we have Michael Newman. I always like to
Yeah,
give him props. I mean, Madeline Leyva, La Amo, La Dora, Wanda Allers, who's like my right hand. But we also have a neuropsychologist who I adore, she's my girl, my friend,
I
mentor,
love it.
supporter. Then there's my other sister, Cressista, there. Um, so it is so good that you are here because right now we are suffering of so many different things
Yeah,
and we are lacking community. This
yeah.
past 6 weeks, if not 8 weeks, I have responded to just, I need to talk. That's
Mm,
been the only request. I
mm,
just need to talk. I'm not a clinician, I'm not a social worker, so we troubleshoot. I need to talk. So there's studies after studies during the pandemic, after the pandemic. There's no
Mhm,
after for me. I mean, obviously, we're still living through things about the loneliness that
mhm,
people are feeling, and
mhm.
it's hit them now.
Yeah. Well,
Now,
because before, if you think about it, we were just being bombarded all the time with information, 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 information. So if you're reading all this information, they're separating you as a community. They're separating people either by race, by color, religion, creed, belief system. They separate, separate, separate. And so now it's starting to hit people in the chest. Like, hold on a second. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is about alienation, being alone, being, I've spoken to people who are alone too, and I totally sympathize with that, right? I'm an extrovert, so I'm always out with a lot of people, or I try to be, on conversations and out and about. But that's just the way that energizes me. But not everybody's an extrovert. We have a lot of introverts that are struggling right now, even though they're introverts and they get their energy from being alone. Doesn't mean they want to be alone all the time. We need to stop, Lily, separating people. We just need to stop separating people. I mean, I we all have different belief systems. Some of your belief systems are different than mine. Mine are different than Marilyn's or Wanda's or Elise or whatever. But the whole point is we got together as a community when there's a need, and that's the point, right? We just should be loving each other and respecting each other, and whatever that person believes in, if it's not causing harm to the person or to society, so you know what I'm saying? Like, let's stop that nonsense. If my neighbor believes something different than me, but my neighbor is sick or hungry, I should be there for my neighbor, regardless. That's how I feel anyway. That's just my belief system.
ladies and gentlemen, we are speaking, and I sound so official today. Nina, what did you do to me? We are speaking to Neena Perez. She is the author. Actually, she is the creator of Straight Talk, No Sugar Added, which I'm telling you is a podcast you want to see. It's always booming with new information. She knows how to do it. She got it down packed. Humor is in it. Real talk. I mean, it's like no BS kind of talk. And also the author of, Hit Me With Your Best Shot. I need to confess this to you, Nina.
Yeah.
That was my best stress song of Pat Benatar.
I love her too. I love her
Well,
too.
I thought I was Pat Benatar. I just want you to know. I had the hair. I didn't have the body because I looked like a little Q-tip. All I had was hair. But,
Funny.
I tried to convince my mother that I was Pat Benatar. Um,
I
but
love
that
it.
was one, and it's still one of my favorite songs. I find it so powerful.
It is.
Tell us about your book. When do
Mm,
you decide? Because writing a book the way that you have done it, the way Mio have done it, and other sisters, you really are making yourself vulnerable.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. I think the first thing is I really needed to decide what I really wanted. What is the purpose of this anyway? Why even write a book? Why tell people all of my laundry, right? And I realized is, you know what? First of all, I need to completely heal, because I was already on a healing journey, but I wanted to completely heal, right? So I wrote the book because I said, you know what? I'm tired of the secrets and the lies and all of that stuff. Because as you're growing up, and I don't know if this was your household, Lily, but in my household, no matter what happened, you don't tell anybody. That was
Los
like,
trapos
that,
no se sacan al sol, no, majita.
right,
Lo que pasa
right,
en casa se queda en casa. So whatever
right.
happened in the, you leave that alone.
That's right.
Hey,
And
my
oh
mama's
man.
around here. She would tell you.
So my mom got very upset with me. I didn't speak to her for like 6 months after I wrote the book. And I knew that may happen, but I knew that my goal was to help others. And that was my goal. So because that was my goal, I put myself through the sacrifice of writing the book. And why I say sacrifice is because I had to relive those moments, think about those moments of being molested and being abused by my stepfather, and going through that domestic violence relationship, trying to commit suicide, having abortions in my life, being beaten down, living in a shelter, having a kid at 15. Like, that was a lot, right? And so like writing each one of those things in my book was hard. It was, it messed with my mind a little bit. I broke down a couple of times, but I just kept going through it. What is my goal? My goal is to help others. My goal is to help others. And so that's what I kept doing every day. I told my husband, okay, my book will be written this year. I'm going to take about 4 to 6 hours every day after work and go downstairs, and I'm doing nothing, turning everything off, social media, the whole thing. And all I'm doing is focusing on the book. He's so supportive. He was just like, okay. He goes, I don't want my, I don't want my story in there. He said, I'm not going to read your book. And he hasn't till this day. But me and him, because we've been married 25 years and we're doing,
Congratulations.
we had a lot of healing to go through. Anybody who read my book knows the journey, but we've been through the healing, and he's a phenomenal human and takes good care of me. But I was the goal of the book, Lily, when you're writing a book that filled with so much tragedy but blessings as well, you have to be willing to sacrifice yourself and know that people will judge you. They're going to look at you a different way. They may think of you differently. There's so many things that I had to really ponder before I pressed the publish on the book, but it was worth it, because the first person that came up to me crying, saying that it changed their life, and started spewing out everything that has happened to them in their life, and it helped them heal. So then if it's just for the one person, I did my job. That was the point.
Neena, help us with something that's so important. We want to
Sure.
do things in our lives, and you
Mhm,
are a coach, so you're
mhm.
talking to someone. Write down her name and her number. My folks have been putting it up. We will put it up again. Mi equipo de Botats, lo cual amo y adoro. They do all the marketing and all of that fun stuff. Um, how did you prepare yourself? Because we're so involved in what we learned, right? So
Mhm.
involved. So getting away from that is almost like adopting a new skin into you feel
Yeah.
like it's yours. It's like almost fostering it, if you will, into you feel like it's yours. Making a decision of that nature and saying to yourself, you know what, this is so powerful that I am willing to take on, because you don't know what the outcome is.
Oh,
You knew that
for
that
sure.
maybe your mom would be upset, um, but you don't know for how long, or you
Yeah.
don't know what the outcome could have been. How does one prepare ourselves? Because what we do is we freeze.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you go through the freezing. That's okay. You're going to go through that at first, because you're like, oh, shoot, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And I think that that's the first thing, Lily, is I stopped like really listening to a lot of, social media, a lot of words, a lot of things that I knew were going to be a negative influence on my mind. Because if we don't protect our ears, our eyes, we get a lot of negativity, a lot of bad things come in, right? Just our mind alone can do that, right? Because it's there to protect us. But what I really started with is, what do I really want? And it wasn't like, oh, I want a house, I want a car. Like, what do I really want? What is in me that I really want? I had to decide what that was. And I always ask people, what do you really want? And, oh, I want a house. I want a no, no. And I keep digging. Well, why? I use a framework called the 7 whys. And so I do it with myself as well. When I say I want something, I ask myself why. Then I come up with that answer. Then why? And then why? And then why? Because
So
the
you
truth
peel
is,
it.
yeah, I peel it back like an onion. And by the seventh or eighth one, you get to the truth of it. And the truth is I wanted to be free. That was the truth. The truth is I needed freedom in my mind. I needed to stop having PTSD. I needed to stop, waking up all the time thinking somebody's at the foot of my bed, because that's when my stepfather started molesting me, was at my bed. You know what I'm saying? So you start to think about, what is it that you really want? And then I want you guys to take yourself through the 7 whys. Once you answer the question, write it on a paper too. There's something extremely powerful. Having
Mhm.
a pen to paper is something really powerful about that. So get a pen or pencil on a paper and write to yourself, why do you really want this? Then you have to decide, why do you really want this? And I want you to ask yourself, I want you to write down 7 whys. Answer the question, and then ask why is that answer, and then why is that answer, and then why is that answer, and you're going to start to realize that there's something deep inside of you that you want to heal or that you want to have. And for me, it was that experience of the freedom of being free from all of the pressures and the PTSD and the unforgiveness and the ugliness that came into my life. And so that's when I started to work on what you heard some of in the with Mio, was, you know, the I called it the fight back series, where I talked about unforgiveness and shame and opening up your mind to receive
I'm sorry,
new
Neena.
things.
This
Yeah.
woman can break down shame. Let's go there. I'm so glad you brought it because this is in my notes. Because when
Oh,
I
is
heard
it?
her, yeah, yeah,
That's
girl, it's
funny.
in my notes. I do
Oh,
my research.
no. Okay.
But I have my notes from the day of the event also.
Okay.
I kept
Okay.
those. Um,
Funny.
Shame. Help us with this one. Shame.
Shame.
Shame is so freaking powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
want you
you
to tell
know,
us about shame, and I want you to explain to us the imposter syndrome.
okay. Well,
Help
let's
me.
start. Let's start with shame. So, shame, as a definition, is a feeling, a painful feeling of humiliation or distress. That's shame. And shame, it comes in sometimes in many different ways. So I always say that there's two kinds of shame, right? There's the shame that you have, that I call it a helpful shame. And the reason I say that is because it should shift what you're doing. So, for instance, if Lily had a purse next to me and I go in and I steal $1, I should feel some sort of way about that. I should feel ashamed about that, because that will then teach me never to do it again. So I do feel like there is a shame that can be helpful to our direction. But then there's that shame that people put on you, that shame that doesn't belong to you. Right. I had to face a lot of this shame as I was writing my book. And a lot of that shame started, as a kid, right? So my stepfather molesting me when I was about 6 years old. And when I told my mom that he was molesting me, she did not believe me. She told me to shut up and stop lying. I was embarrassed. I felt ashamed. I felt unworthy. I felt stupid, right? And it took me years. Well, I mean, I was like in my late 30s when I finally realized that I had nothing to be ashamed of. I was living the life of, oh, I can't really tell anybody about that because, oh man, that's so gross that that happened to me and people are going to be looking at me all funny. And I was very ashamed of that. Right. So when I thought about shame, I was thinking, is there a way to get through shame? And one of the things that I was, when I was studying shame and trying to learn more about shame and writing about shame and all that, is that it's caused by the consciousness of a wrong or foolish behavior. So if something is a consciousness of a wrong and foolish behavior, then that doesn't belong to me because I didn't do that. Right? My stepfather did it. So I never asked him to touch me. So clearly, this is not my shame to carry. This is his shame. He can carry it. Right? There are some situations in your life where you don't choose for things to happen to you. And yet, because of the way our brain works and protection comes in, you start to develop a shame and you start to carry that shame as if it was yours, as if you were the one that caused it. And a lot of the things in our life we did not cause. And I want you to free yourself from being ashamed. You need to look at that shame and say, you know what? I truly believe that this is not mine. I do not want to carry this anymore. And I truly believe that God loves me and I'm not going to be a victim of this. And I'm not going to allow this mindset and this enemy to keep feeding me this shame that keeps me from everything that I have in life and that everything that people or the Lord or your God has to offer you. This world has a lot to offer. And when we live in shame, we cover ourselves from a lot of things that we can be learning, growing, and expanding from. Shame is a lie. It is a lie that is manipulated and deceived and put in a way for you to hold back from who you really are. This is where self-sabotaging comes from. Anger, like you start to flip at every little thing makes you angry. I was that person. You feel betrayed, even though somebody's not trying to betray you. People can't be truthful with you because you immediately want to push them back. right? I went to therapists, counselors, tarot card readings, people who are psychics, everything. I did everything I could to try to deal with this shame. And I realized that I didn't get any freedom from that. For me, it was my faith. That's what set me free. That's what actually brought freedom into my life when I started to realize how much God loved me. And I was able to flip my thinking and realize that things don't belong to me. I am not carrying around me anymore. I'm not doing it. Right. So transformation doesn't happen overnight. I want you guys to be encouraged. You are going to go back and forth and back and forth, and that is okay. The point is that you're going forth. I don't care if you go back a little bit, just keep going forward. Right. You still have to check yourself in your way of thinking, because I know for me, if I start to feel like a little bit like a shy or ashamed about something, I check that immediately. Why are you feeling that? Where is that coming from? Like Lily was saying before, when you have feelings, reach into those feelings and ask yourself why. Why are those feelings there? What am I feeling right now? Is this okay to feel? Right. So I truly believe that you have that shame, like I said, that there's healthy, and that shame that is contradictory to that. That is not yours. Do not carry anything that does not belong to you. And shame is one of them.
I want you all to, I hope to listen to this. Write the word shame wherever you want. I don't care what's
Mhm.
next to you. Use the la crayola de los nenes if you want, whatever, or your own crayolas. Lately I'm like, I don't know if they're Harper's or mine, my little granddaughters. Um, but the reason why I say shame is so important is because one of the things that we worry about all the time is what people think of what
Mhm.
happened to
Mhm.
us.
Mhm.
Um, and it happened,
Right.
and denying that it happened to us, not as victimizing ourselves. This is what I tell people all the time, because they're like, I don't want to be a victim. I agree with you. I didn't want to feel victimized,
Right.
or become that angry, painful. We've been there.
Mhm.
This is your temple. Somebody violates your temple, your space, your mind, your soul, that kind of stuff, and you were violated.
Mhm. Mhm.
So of course you feel shameful about, why me? I was a child.
Right.
Why didn't anybody protect me? Was I not worthy? And that walks with you for a long,
Oh,
long,
time.
long time.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
then you start trying to have healthy relationships, but none of that has healed. And then
Right.
you find yourself in this circle that you don't understand, but you can find out what's wrong with other people. They're
Ain't
just
that the
dumb.
truth?
They're stupid.
Ain't that the
They don't
truth?
understand me. They just are not up with the times. They. And when you use that many days, I always wonder, I always tell people, well, why are they so in charge?
Right.
Right?
Right.
Why are they
Right.
so in charge? So now we
Right.
also give our power away, right? Because we're
Yep.
so freaking afraid.
Right.
Right? So anger is one of those emotions that people feel most comfortable with, right? So if
Yep.
you want to lock something down, and you and I may have something to talk about, I can say to you, you know what, Nina, I'm very disappointed and angry. I don't need to talk to you right now. Which
Right.
could translate into, I am terrified of having this conversation, Nina, because I'm a mess and I'm going to cry and I don't know how I feel.
Right.
But
Right.
no, it sounds much better, doesn't it, when I stand up straight and cocky and tell you, and then I hang up the phone. Oh my God, I don't know what to do. And I probably lost
That's
this great
real.
opportunity. Yeah, that's
That's
real.
real. Mhm.
And then I lost this great opportunity to have a real exchange of growth and
Yeah.
being vulnerable. Tell us about the imposter syndrome. Oh my God, I don't know any of us who has not gone through that moment where you go, why am I here? Do I belong here? Should I be
Yeah.
here?
Should right. And you know what that starts with? That starts with you just taking a little bit of an inventory of who you are, right? Just literally taking an inventory of who you are. What are your expertise? What do you like? What don't you like? You know, what have you done in the past? Where have you worked? Like I worked with a mom. She has 3 kids, and she was like, "Oh, I really don't know anything. Really? Do you take your kids there? Do you do this with them? Do you do that? Do you have?" And she's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Oh my God! By the time we were done, she had like a whole like 2 lists of things of expertise that she does. And that's the thing. Like, imposter syndrome is a lie, right? It comes in, it's an insecurity that we've had that we haven't dealt with, and it comes in, and the minute that somebody asks you an expertise about something, you start to push back like, oh shoot, do I know the answer? You might not, and that is okay. You see, this is the problem, right? Is that we think that because we are the expert, or are called in to do something. I go to I do talks all the time. I'm on podcasts all the time. I have a live show too. I don't know everything, and I always say I do not know because I don't know, right? And that's when I do all my research and go in and start to read and all that great stuff, because I love to do that. But here's the thing, guys. You are going to always feel like an imposter to something, so, and that is okay. That's a normal feeling. That is okay. But I want you to question that imposter as if it was some outside source, and just say, okay, imposter, why are you here? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the times that we feel imposter syndrome, it's literally your brain trying to protect you. It's trying to say, hey, this is a little scary. This is a little new. I've never been on Lily's show before. How's that going to go? I don't know how that's going to go. What if she asks me a tough question? What if I can't? I don't know if I'm going to remember that. What is shame? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden, like, everything comes to you, and you have to stop and say, okay, imposter, why are you feeling like this? What is this about? Is this even true? Because 95% of the time, it's not true. If you are asked something that you don't know, just say you don't know. It's okay. But if you're asked something and you do know because you work in that field and that's what you do, stop for a second and pause yourself. Why am I feeling like I don't know this? Of course I know this. How many times, Lily, have you ever done that where you feel like, oh, I don't know how to do this, and then you're in the middle of it, you're like, oh, I could. This is like, yeah, I know how to do this. I'm doing this, right? And that's the same thing. I think that imposter syndrome, to me, it's twofold. For me, it comes as an indication that I have to look and see why that's there. Why is it that I don't feel worthy enough, good enough, smart enough, strategic enough? I always question myself. I think that's what's helped me in my life to self-develop. I've always risen to the occasion in everything I've done in my life, and it's because I'm always questioning myself. I never stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you feeling like that? What is that about? Why are you here? Blah, 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 blah. I'm always doing that, but that's because I want to get better and I want to know more and I want to be curious. I'm a very curious person. So I'm always trying to figure things out, So don't stop yourself, guys. Dude, question yourself every time. It's okay. Even if you have to talk to yourself like I do, question yourself, because you're going to realize how much you actually really, really know that you didn't even know you knew. Yeah.
I love that. Con nosotros también directamente de Puerto Rico está Isamar Osorio. Osorio.
Buenas.
Alejo. Hola, hola. Ashlyn González. La extraño tanto, tanto, tanto. I love you, Ashlyn. Neena, one of the things that, and I always use myself, and because this is what it's all about, right? So this is my journey. So in my case, due to my mental health, my brain injury, all of that kind of stuff, there was lots of things I could not do, and there are things that I now do differently because I acquired strategies on how to do it, right? The biggest thing was to learn to say no.
Not good.
When you're a yes person, and dealing with the guilt, because somewhere in there somebody told us that we're supposed to be guilty,
right?
Because we can't do it, right? So Lily, I need you in Bridgeport at 9:00, but at 3:00, can you be I don't know, in New York City? Have you heard of traffic? How much is that going to cost me? Whatever. But no, I can't disappoint this person. Well, what's going to happen is I'm going to disappoint myself.
Right.
Or I'm not being loyal to myself. That's not something I want to do.
You're not being loyal to them either, because if you're doing something and begrudgingly not wanting to, you're not even being loyal to the thing you said yes to. So It's both. Yeah, I used to be a yes person all the time, and I realized that it was exhausting. I was tired, I was fatigued, I was angry a lot. I was, I felt used, I felt, all that kind of thing. But the truth is I don't think they meant to use me. It was just that I became the yes person. And so I didn't set the boundaries. So there was no boundaries to be set. Right. And so when I started to set the boundaries, I felt the same way, Lily. I felt so guilty and so bad about it. But here's the trick: pause. As soon as you say no, pause. You don't have to jump in with an explanation. You don't have to jump in with trying to change your mind because you feel guilty. Just pause for a second and let the guilt go away. It'll start to go away. You said no, they hang up the phone, you're like, you know what I mean? Because it's a real thing. You start to feel seriously guilty, like, well, I guess I could do it. I mean, I could take the train to New York City if I get on the train at 2. You know what I mean? You start to go through all of that, but you shouldn't compromise you. So if you felt like that was too much for you to begin with, then it's too much for you to begin with. Pause and just live in that guilt space for just a moment and ask yourself, why am I feeling guilty about this? I promise you, after you do that a few times, no gets a lot easier. You start to realize that no is a complete sentence. It doesn't need an explanation.
Ooh, like that one.
Yeah.
No explanation needed.
There isn't. I mean, somebody says anything, you say no. There's no explanation needed. It's like saying this is a thing that women do all the time that sometimes drives me a little crazy, but I'm getting better. It's the explanation for everything, right? So if I say, Lily, that's a beautiful shirt. Oh, thank you. I got it at, TJ Maxx for $9.99.
Oh, I didn't pay too much for it, so don't worry.
Yeah, like I just said it was a nice shirt, right?
Gracias.
All I said was it was a nice shirt. That's all I did. I didn't need to know where you got it. I don't care that you paid for a lot of money or just a cent for it. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. Girl, no, I got this one at TJ Maxx and I got 2 for 1 and and then we become almost manic about it because we don't know what to do with the compliment.
Right.
It's just Carmen Cruz se ha unido a nosotros. Estamos hablando con Neena Perez y ella es la dueña y autora de uno de los podcasts que a mí más me gusta, que se llama Straight Talk sin azuquita añadido. Neena es latina y es una mujer que ha vivido una vida, yo diría, muy colorida y ha sido valiente, vaquera, como decimos nosotros, como dicen en Colombia, ¿verdad? De verdad, para entregarse a la vida, para entonces podernos ofrecer lo que nos está ofreciendo hoy con nosotros. Con esa persona es la que estamos hablando, que la ven aquí ustedes. Ella no se va a ir, no se preocupen, van a poder ver su podcast. Les digo que se entreguen. Please check it out. Don't take my word for it. All I'm doing is an invitation. I'm telling you, guest all the time. You do amazing on social media with your clips. I mean, they're incredibly bitey, where they make me go, oh, come on. Now I really got to watch that one.
Right.
Like, you make it, I'm like, come on, Neena. Like now I have to really watch that podcast. And there's so many that you can go back and look at, which is so awesome. So you're giving out a lot of content.
Yeah, it's almost like 300 episodes, I think, at this point. So I'm like,
oh my God, girl. Yeah, no, I'm still going. When I get to live, I jump in if I can, because those are juicy moments. For all of you that are here today, you're going to take home, like you usually do, $50. But I want you to tell me, what did our guests, what did Neena say that you went, you see? Nosotras no estamos perdidas, estamos buscando el camino. Eso es muy diferente a estar perdidas. No estamos perdidos, estamos buscando el camino, pasito a pasito, y vamos a llegar. Necesitamos a todas aquellas personas en nuestras comunidades, como Neena, como Misote, como todas nuestras hermanas de todas las edades, de todos los colores. Pero si estás en los 50 como yo, en los 54, que estoy yo, uno ya, la sociedad le dijo que chao, mamita, ya tú no vales nada, ya, cómprate la sillita esa que hace así. La rocking chair esa, cómprate la rocking chair esa. Entonces ahí pues tú te meces a ver si alguien quiere algo de ti. No, la vida ha cambiado muchísimo. Don't tell my mother about the rocking chair because she will beat my butt. Um, yeah, that woman is, my
That's
mother's in her
funny.
70s and she got more energy than me. I mean, my eyes go like this.
That's
Nina,
awesome.
what is your advice for those folks, men or women? Because I find I work with a lot of men. I have the blessing, and some of hola Angelica, some of my brothers are right on here, and they support me, and we work together, so on and so forth. Um, Men have been out of the conversation for a very long time.
That's true. That's true.
They've
So
been
we
out
were
of the conversation, so we separate. Ellos allá y nosotras acá. And sometimes it has to be that conversation between men and women, so we know how to come to the table at times, because you are sharing your life, right, with your
yeah,
husband, but you are an individual.
yeah,
This is
100%.
what I tell people all the time. You are an individual. My husband is an individual. So we have our life together in our lives, right? So,
Yep.
what is your advice for those who are like, where do I fit in? You're
Mm.
like, what next? Is this all
Mhm.
there is? Que voy a trabajar, llego a la casa, como, if I'm lucky, llego a la casa, como y me acuesto. Like
Yeah.
what's in, how do I get what's inside of me? Because you're really good at that.
Yeah, I think one of the things that helped me in my life was creating like a list of things that I really wanted, like I said before, to do differently, or some goals I wanted to accomplish in my life. So that, because my life felt very mundane, like I said, my journal, honestly, my journal, all I had to do was scrape off the year and put the new year on. I was doing the exact same thing. And when you get there, like you said, you come home, you feel a little stuck, you don't feel like you're doing anything, good, or you just doing the same thing over and over. And so create a plan. Like, I don't care if it's a little goal. Maybe you want to walk every day. Maybe you want to lose some weight. Maybe you want to, start reading a new book. I don't care what the goal is. The goal is to ask, the thing to me is to create something, right? So ask yourself, what is it that you want to do? What's that goal that you want to achieve, right? And keep asking yourself at the end of every day, what is it that I want to do? What do I want to do today? What do I want to do tomorrow? Write them down. Write your ideas down. By the way, no idea is a stupid idea. Okay. So every morning when you get up, I need you to get up with 3 things you're grateful for in your life, even if things are bad. I don't want your brain getting up and already programming your neurons in your
Lawrence.
brain to the negative. Okay, so get up immediately to the positive. So as soon as you get up, 3 things you're grateful for. Grateful for breathing, grateful for sleeping in a warm bed, grateful for the heat in your house, grateful for whatever, vision. I don't care what you're grateful for. Just pick 3 things. Okay. Then ask yourself, how do you want that day to be achieved? What is the goal for that day? That day. I'm not asking you to think 20 years from now, just the day. This is how you start. Okay. And write down what it is that you want to do that day. Create a plan around that day. All right. What that plan is for that day. Right. If I said I want to walk in the morning, then I'm going to create a plan like, okay, so I'm going to walk from this time to this time in this many minutes. That'll achieve that goal for that day. You don't have to overwhelm yourself. I'm telling you that if your life is just mundane and you're doing the same thing all the time, doing one thing that shifts and changes will start to ripple effect, and you'll get so many different things as you go. Okay. So also, I think for me, Lily, one of the things that works for me in my life is when I get someone in my life that holds me accountable. So
Mm.
if I'm just trying to do something different that day, like I say to my husband, hey, hon, tomorrow I want to get up at 6 and I want to go for a walk. Can you hold me accountable? So that he could say, hey, you said you were going to get up at 6 and go walking. It's 5:30. What are you doing? So holding somebody accountable doesn't mean you beat them down. It means you support their goal. You support what it is they want to do, because it holds you to a higher standard. Most of us will do more for others than we do for ourselves.
Amen.
So if you can find someone that'll hold you accountable, then you will do for you. So find a good friend, find your bestie, find someone to hang out with, and just say, "Yay, you know what? Me and the fellas are going to go to the gym. You said you wanted to start going to the gym. Let's go." Have somebody hold you accountable to what it is you really want. That's going to get you so far in life, in your goals, in everything. Because when you have that partner in crime, that partner with you, holding you accountable to what it is you want, you'll start to then hold yourself accountable, and you're going to see movement and shaking. I always say one thing, Lily, is one thing is really true for me and strong for me is just do it 1% a day, just 1% a day. And before you know it, you're at 100%. So just 1% a day. You guys don't have
Everything
to,
starts with one.
everything. Because we get through the new year, we go, okay, I'm gonna lose weight, start a new job,
Oh
write
my
a book,
God, girl. I'm gonna paint the basement. I'm gonna change
right,
the curtains.
right.
I'm gonna, yeah, no, 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 no,
And
no.
then you don't get to any of them. Then you beat yourself up because you didn't do any of it. Just do the one thing a day. That's it. And it could
Con,
be the
nos-
same thing every day until you do it.
con nosotros también está Mabel Lasalle de Puerto Rico directamente, que también va a venir.
Puerto
Pronto
Rico.
habrá, no, Mabel is incredible. She has an incredible program in entrepreneur for women just like you and I, who are
Awesome.
finding our way. And Andrew, I mean, it's like amazing. We're going to give out their gifts. So we're purchasing from those entrepreneurs now for the
Awesome.
holidays. So you guys will have an opportunity to do that. So Mabel will help me do that. And she's allowed me to go over there to the site in Puerto Rico. Um, I wanna share with all of you that you define what the goal is, but I have a lot of people say, well, Lily, what can that goal be? Maybe is for you, maybe it is to not smoke 10 cigarettes a day, to smoke 9,
Right.
right? To you, your goal might be today, I have to get out of bed and take a shower because that's how
Right.
depressed I am,
I've been
right?
there. I've been there.
So, oh, girl, me too.
Mhm.
Um, my goal could be I'm going to wash those dishes. And do not let anybody shame you. Here's the
That's right.
thing, that's your 1%. That's something you didn't do before. And
Mhm.
sometimes you have to you have to do what for others is small and for you is huge.
That's right.
For
That's
you
right.
is huge. And this is why the show it's all about mental health. Bringing Neena in here is an opportunity for you, for us as a community to have another resource. She does so much alone on her podcast. Imagine what you could do with her on one
Mhm.
when you really have her full attention. She has you there. But it is so hard for us. We believed in traditional clinical. I do. Been there, done that. I got my check ins. I do all of that. I'm not ashamed of it.
No, it's awesome. That's
I
great.
I do my check-ins, I have, neurological treatments, enjoy the 7 Ys, work well, as does beginning with the one each day. Thank you both for sharing. We love you, Chris. You know that's true.
Thank
Mad
you.
love. That's a beast right there, man. That woman is full of wisdom, full of wisdom. Um, I tell people all the time that it's so important for us not to get lost in what other people believe the grade is. It's kind of like a
Yes.
grade. They're going to give me a D. It won't matter. So on and so forth. As soon as we start giving out our power, continue
Mhm.
to give
Mhm.
our power to
Mhm.
people who are willing to take it. Because at the beginning of the show, Neena, you said, as you grow,
Mhm.
right? As you learn more, as you read Nina's book and you go, ay, Dios mío, I'm not the only one. Ay, Dios mío. Oh, no, tienes razón. Ay, ahí está una herramienta. I can use it. Oh, mira, la puedo llamar. Oh, my God, I can do this. You're developing, you're growing. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
going to change. I'm not the same girl that I was when I was 20,
That's right.
thank God,
Right.
you
Right.
know,
Exactly.
thank God, it's just like I could go to the supermarket without makeup. At
Yeah.
20, I would not do that. Oh, hell no. I had so
Well,
much blue
you were Pat
eyeshadow.
Benatar.
I'm
You
telling you,
were
girl, it's got Benatar. I had all the blue eyeshadow given to people. I had purple hair. My poor mother. My poor mother. Um, she would tell you yourself, oh my God. So cutoff jeans are not new, people, just for
Right?
you to know.
For
They're
real.
not new.
Oh.
So all of those things that might have been your truth, your your moment is what I call it. Those were your moments.
Mhm.
Now you create new moments.
Mhm.
But forgetting our past, I argue, oh my God, people get so mad at me. Oh no, Lily, my past, I forgot my past. I'm like, dude, if you forgot your past, you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
I never forget my past.
Right.
Every day
Right.
I look at myself and I go, you know what, mama? Not bad. Not bad. Even if I feel like a C or a D, not bad. You're not where you used to be.
That's right.
Whatever issue I thought I was not doing well, that's the one I go to. I have a
Mhm.
picture of
Mhm.
me as a little girl, Nina. Literally, a picture this big. For anybody who went to school in Puerto Rico, you know that you got those little ones. I don't know why they made them so little. It's like barely, it's not even a wallet
That's
size.
so
Mami, ¿por
funny.
qué hacían eso? Y le cobraban a los papás. This is pictures like this. I'll show
It was
you on
like a
Monday.
thumbnail, like a child
Yeah, it's
size.
like you try to hold it in your hand. Mi pobre mamá pagando por toda esa foto. This little, and I'm holding on some books because they do that. They set you up and stuff like that. And I look at that picture all the time and I go, so telling of what I was already interested in. So
Mm.
one of the exercises that I do in my training is I go look at your pictures, because in some of the pictures you'll find out what you were interested in,
Mhm.
because lots of us will go, I don't know. Nina will say, well, what do you like doing? Taking care of the kids. Well, that's something you probably have to do,
Right.
but do you like doing it? Because
Right.
I love my babies, but I don't always like them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love my kids, but I don't always like them. My daughter would tell you.
I ain't gonna lie, that's me too. I used to always say that. I used to tell my kids, I love you. I don't like you right now, but I love you.
Exactly. But I love you. Lord, love is free. Lord, love is free. That's my daughter right there. Um,
Oh,
she would
that's
tell you,
awesome.
she tells me, I love
She's
you, don't
gorgeous.
like you. I love you, don't like you. Yeah, that's part of the problem. Um, that's why I don't like her sometimes. But Nina, you are achieving things that, did you think you would be the Nina you are today when you
No.
were 15, 18, 20? When did the boomerang hit you?
I was always a fighter. I think that was just innate in me, right? Even as a child, I learned how to dodge and weave my stepfather. I learned, like I just started to develop these skills of trying to survive. And so I think the boomerang hit me maybe in my 30s, to be honest with you. Like, when I was younger, it was just survival mode, right? I had a kid at 15. I had to survive. I had to finish high school. I had to take care of him, and I couldn't go to college because I had to work 14-hour shifts, right? Taking care of him. And then I got married and then divorced. So, but I had the second child at 21. So here I am, two kids at 21. You're surviving. You're just survive. All you're thinking about is survival, food, clothes, roof over their head, whatever you can do. So it was in my 30s that I was like, wait a minute, what do I want? You know what I mean? Like, what is it that I like or don't like? What is it that I need or don't need? Like, I didn't know the answers to that. So I started questioning myself. What is that? What do you like? Oh, I like this. And then I found out I don't like that. Right. And that's the whole point of growth. Try something anyway. You might not like it. That's true. So what? Try it. You might
Now
like it,
you
you
know
might
you
not.
don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's how you grow, right? You start to grow. I love failure. I always say I love failure because failure is feedback, guys. Failure is feed. The more you fail, the more feedback you have, the more you move forward. I'm telling you, fail as much as you can because that is going to give you every strategic opportunity you need to grow. I love failure. It's the best thing that ever happened to me. Yeah.
I tell people all the time, had I not failed at so many things, I would not be here today.
Right. Right. Right.
I would not be here today, because you think you're supposed to be A, and then you find out that that's not even where you're supposed to be in the first place.
Right.
So
Right.
with us is Neena Perez. Do not miss her podcast because you're going to be cheating yourself out of some really, really, really good stuff. It's free content, people. I'm just
Yeah,
telling you. She giving you like free content, like a lot of it.
there's a lot.
And then I invite you to really look at her materials, and if you can have a private, a consultation with her and all of that kind of stuff. I don't bring anybody in my show that I think are full of bullshit.
Yeah,
I, I
me either.
just I just don't. I
Mhm.
just don't. I don't have time for that. I'm too old for that. Um,
You
you
sound like
know,
me. I'm
yeah,
always
I'm too
saying,
old for that.
I ain't got no time for that. Ain't nobody got time
No,
for
no,
that."
no. I don't have time for that. I
That's
got
funny.
3,000 things to do. So, and I'm blessed that I can do that. So
Amen.
here's your turn. Put in your comments. What do you think Nina said today? And you take home those $50. ¿Qué dijo Nina hoy? ¿Qué dijo Nina hoy que te hizo pensar, que te hizo, or even made you feel like, damn, I got this. Yeah, she's right.
Yeah, you sure do got
What?
it.
What? Where can
Mhm.
we find you, Nina? They're already asking. Tell people
You
where they
well,
can find you. My team is going to tell them, but
I'm omnipresent, so I'm everywhere, but the podcast is called Straight Talk, No Sugar Added, and that's the same for the website. That's the same on LinkedIn. That's the same on Instagram. All of them, or Nina Perez, which is NeenaPerez. And my book is actually, I wanted to mention this as well, is I got it translated, so it's in Spanish as well. So if anybody wants to read it in Spanish, it is in Spanish. So it's Hit Me With Your Best Shot, how I overcame a hard-hitting life. And I think it's Lánzame con tu mejor golpe. So it's you'll see it on Amazon. If you just punch in my name, it'll come up.
y si algunos de ustedes están interesados en el libro en español, nos lo hacen saber a nosotros. Se lo dicen al equipo y aquí compramos 2 o 3 y los regalamos también para que ustedes lo tengan. Obligamos a Nina, mira el lenguaje que estoy usando. Obligamos. ¿Ustedes creen que podemos obligar a Nina a hacer algo? I don't think so. Le pedimos a Nina el favor de que le ponga así su firmita, su autógrafo para que usted lo
Sure.
tenga en su casita y lo pueda leer y compartir. I always tell folks, when you find a book or anything that you like, a podcast, keep sharing it with people. Failure is feedback. This is amazing. My whole house stayed in awe with that one. Oh, that's my daughter, Nina. That's
That's
it. We're hanging
awesome.
up. I can't get her to say that. So that's it. You're gone, Nina. Ain't press this button. You gone, girl. I'm full of envy now. I'm full of envy. That's another thing that sometimes we're not the indicated person to talk to certain people. So we must be honest with ourselves and say,
Yeah.
I might not be the best match. We do
Oh
not
yeah.
have to explain. Women always feel the need to explain. There you go. All right. So people are on it, Nina. You're like sparking it all up. It's hot stuff. It is the 3 blessings. Number one for me, I can start my day this way and I have a positive attitude and day. That's a brother. That's a brother for you. Señoras
Thank
y
you
señores, a
guys.
ustedes le toca votar para ver quién se gana los $50 y se los lleva para la casa. Y yo sueno como una de esas personas, ¿verdad? Que están en las ofertas y que te están vendiendo un carro 10 por 1. Ese tipo
I
de cosas,
love
because
it.
that's what I've
I
been
love
trained to
it.
do. You want it to be said fast. I can tell you fast. And Nina, and you have to find her on her podcast. And
It's
she's
so
on,
funny.
Instagram. And Instagram. Do you know how to say Instagram?
Instagram. Instagram.
Instagram, mija. Instagram. Okay.
Instagram. Okay, got
Dilo
it.
bien. Don't be like Instagram. No. We don't know what that is. It's
Instagram.
Instagram y el Facebook. That's what my
Y
father calls
Facebook.
it.
I got it.
He calls it el Facebook. They
Oh
told
my
me you
god.
run it in Facebook, Nina. So have some fun with it. Have some fun with your journey. Read her. I'm telling you, it's like I'm not sharing my book with you because I'm really jealous with my books, but I will get some here for. Sounds like my story, very familiar. My daughter says
Mm, mm.
the podcast. And you have Michael, and then you have my nosy husband there who I love and adore, and who is my go get it girl, my go
Yep.
get it girl.
Yep. I have one.
Um,
I love it. I
I know.
love it.
He's my go get it girl. You can do it. You can do
Yeah,
it.
I know. What are you
You
talking
know?
about? You could do it. I'm like, sometimes I just want to boo-hoo, and he doesn't let me. He's like, you could do it. I'm like, oh, forget it. I could do it.
No, I can't.
I was trying to, like,
What's
whine and be
up
a
with this?
victim. What are you doing?
Let me be
Oh my
unhappy about this so I
gosh.
can get away
Exactly.
without doing it. You know?
That's real.
That is so real. So, Neena, leave us that I wish you wouldn't, and I hope you will come back.
Yeah, anytime.
I tell the audience all the time, I've been in that bed. I've been in that coma due to suicide. I've been in, the brain injury journey. I've been
Mm,
there. Was I mad and upset? Oh my God. God and I had some fights. Woo!
me too.
Some
Yeah.
serious, like, where are you?
Mhm.
Kind of stuff. And that's my belief. But you can call it Jukajeke for all I care.
Yeah.
It's about you and the universe, the plants, everything, because we are all one. Believe it or not, all of us at the end of the day are one creation, right? Divided into this beautiful garden that we live in. For those of you that want what, Neena, tell us if I was with you solita, sitting
Uh-huh.
in your sofa,
Okay.
right? And you said to me, Lily, I have the magic one. I have it. What's gonna be that dream, Nina? What do you want for
Wow.
that? Well, only one. No se alista. No se alista. Everybody's like, they trying to make these big sentences, and I'm like, no, 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 no. The magic one, only one. And I'm like, that's like 3 or 4. No, you only get one.
Hmm.
Which is so
Hmm.
hard for us women, right?
I think people need to be encouraged. So here's what I want to encourage you with. I was reading a book. I think his name is John Asseroff, and he's a neural pathway, a neuroscientist. And he said that, I think it was him that said, every morning when you wake up, literally while you're sleeping, your brain develops all neural pathways. And so when you get up in the morning, understand that you have an opportunity to break things in your life that have held you back. So if there are thoughts of negativity, of, victim mentality, of anything that holds you back, you have an opportunity. Every morning is a new morning and a new day. And that is the only day you have because you are not promised tomorrow. So make it count. Wake up that morning with the new neural pathways that you have and start breaking off bad thoughts and habits that you might have. You have an opportunity every morning. Tomorrow morning, when you get up, I want you to get up with that in your mind. Wait a minute. I'm waking up with brand new neural pathways today. I can literally think however I want to right now and put the direction of my life the way I want to. So that's the one thing I want to encourage you with. I'll leave it with that.
Nobody's been able to round it up that way, girl. Neena Perez, señoras y señores. Nina, if you don't mind hanging out there for a few minutes, I know
Sure.
you're really busy. Getting you was and is a blessing to have
Thank
you.
you.
No se equivoquen, esto es una guerrera. No se equivoquen. Esto es una guerrera. Tenemos que comunicarnos el uno con el otro mucho más.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have to send out this love, kindness, generosity to one another. But please, let's lift people when they are too tired to walk. They are too tired. They're hopeless, not soulless.
Right.
When I work with my brothers and sisters who are unsheltered, the one thing that I'm always told is thank you for coming out. In the freaking cold, I'm told thank you for coming out. So let's come out for our folks. Let's say we're present in any which way that you can. Is it because you're watching Nina's Instagram and that day you feel like crap? You now have another name that you can look up on your social media and go, you know what? No. Today is one of those days where, my mind ain't working right. Go and look at that person on social media that's actually going to lift you, to challenge you, and that kind of stuff. Listen, I ain't gonna look like I was when I was 20, and I think my mom is really happy about that. because I don't have that much blue eyeshadow anymore. Okay, I'm not going to be a size 0, nor do I want to be a size 0. I'm not going to not be who I am. That's just a journey, right? I'm going to fight these wrinkles into the day I freaking die. You know what I mean? I got every product you can imagine on my dresser. I tried it. You asked me, I tried it. I can tell you. But please be kind and generous to one another and do not lose self-compassion. So you got 30 seconds, you guys, to vote. Who takes the $50 home? Neena, how much is your book cost, Neena?
I think it's like $14 or something on Amazon, and you could also, and I also have it on Kindle, which is a lot less.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome. So
Yeah.
we can get some of these books, Neena, from
Mhm.
Amazon and give them out here next time. So the
Awesome.
voting has started. Who is nominating who? Nelson Jumi. Oh, you would like Nelson and his wife, Pastor Michelle Ruiz. They're amazing people. He's an amazing photographer as well. He is doing men's conferences now. It's super cool.
Awesome.
So thank you, Nelson, for being here. Great people here. ¿Quién se gana los $50? What I do want to leave you with is that every guest, every person who shares the space with us is someone who I've recognized somewhere, who's touched my heart in some way. Your PhD does not impress me. Your heart blesses me. Remember that. Your PhD does not impress me. Your heart blesses me. Love
Mhm.
is a
I
verb.
love it. I love
A
it.
verb. Love is a verb. A verb. We just, you don't love people the same way you love the couch. Depend on the day. But, here and there, whatever. So, what are we gonna do? Nina's like, girl's crazy. I didn't know
You
she
are
was
so
crazy. You're gonna
funny.
tell
I
your
like
husband.
you.
You're gonna tell your husband, I don't know if I should have been on
This
that
is
show
so
because
fun. No, this was fun, and I
I think
really
that
am
girl's
blessed.
crazy. She crazy. I did take my meds, Nina. I did.
Good,
I swear.
good.
I took my meds. I took my meds. Maybe
I
I need
like
more
you a
meds.
lot. I like you a lot. I love what you do. I love how you pour into others. This is an honor for me. I really appreciate being here. You were amazing. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, sister. I think the same way. So the voting will continue. I guess my team will let me know. Nina will order some books and hopefully maybe we can send you the money. You can order it for us in autograph.
Sure. Whatever, however
What do
you
you
want to do it.
think? Isn't that's probably the best way to
I can order a stack of them, sign them, and send them to your address, and you can distribute them. Sounds good.
That would be good because
Yeah.
already people are asking me about it. Señoras y señores, buenas noches. Que Diosito me los bendiga. Esa es mi creencia. Que los ángeles siempre los guarden. Cuídense. Cuídense mucho y no dejen que nadie le quite el deseo de vivir. Buenas noches. See you next week, everybody. See you tomorrow on Café con Lily. Now I got to think. Thanks, Nina. We love you. Thank you for
Thank
being with
you.
us.
Thank you
Good
for having me.
night.
Good night.